got it. Go.
Okay. So it was day 3 of our trip yesterday. And day 3 began with all of us getting up at irregular times. So I think Jameson and I were up at about 5:30. And then Jesse and Kayla woke up at about 6:45. So we all got we got coffee in the morning, and we had a little cake yesterday morning, and we got ready, we got dressed, and ready to go to Shibuya. And when we got to Shibuya, we got off Shibuya Station, and the very first thing we went to go do was to see Hachiko, which is the giant statue of the dog.
Mm-hmm. It was so busy.
So busy.
I didn't expect there to be that many people around that little statue.
Crazy.
It was one person after another came up and
There
took
was like a
pictures
circle of tourists, and occasionally a random Japanese girl, lots of Chinese tourists, and they would rush up, they'd take a picture really fast, and then they'd leave. And then one guy put a kitten up there.
And then moved away, like left.
And then left. Like, I don't know if the kitten belongs there or if somebody's taking the kitten home, but it was like this little Siamese kitten that they just stuck up underneath the dog.
Yep, between his feet. And it just like was there.
Yeah, all day. And I don't know what happened to the kitten. I hope the kitten's okay and got to go home.
If he was that calm, he must be used to being dragged out in
yeah,
public.
There, at least. So I took a picture with Hachiko because Kayla pushed me.
It's important. You're the dog lady.
I am the dog lady. That's fair. And then we went to... Where'd we go? Oh, I need you.
Was the place we got the cake, that was the Altair, the French place?
French place.
The French place in the middle of Japan?
Okay, so if I'm being involved in this.
Put your foot on top of that. We'll both ice our feet.
So before we went to Hachiko, we visited. So as we were coming out of the train station, there was this big sign that said, "World's Best Tsukemen." And I was like, I wanted to try tsukemen the whole time. And what it is, it's essentially separated ramen, to where you have the broth, a very concentrated sauce outside, and then the noodles in their own bowl. So we went into the shop, and it was one of the shops where you order outside on the little machine, it prints you a ticket, which we hadn't done yet. But then the lady takes us inside, and we all sit down, and this is the quietest shop ever.
We walked in and we were loud just by walking.
Yeah. Nobody besides the waitress who's yelling back and forth with this machine about the orders was talking.
There was only slurping.
Yeah. There was slurping and that was it.
And the people next to me, the man next to me, was the loudest slurper in the entire world. He would slurp and he'd go... Jesus, like an earthquake.
But it was really, really tasty, and that's a particular food I really wanted to
Jameson ate all of his. He emptied the bowl in like 5 minutes flat, so I pushed mine over.
Yeah. And that became a reoccurring theme where when we got food we couldn't finish, we gave it to James.
And so after eating the food that whole day, we decided that we should probably split every meal thereafter, which we didn't do tonight.
With tsukemen though, is since there is so much slurping, we were all like speckled with like broth all over. So I spent most of the day walking like this.
So we had tsukemen about 11:30 a.m. and we did not get back to the apartment until 8 a.m. And all of us had the ramen down the front. I was wearing black, thankfully, but it was definitely down my boobs. And she had big dots.
Yeah.
Jamie had big dots. And Jesse had lots of little dots.
Like a couple little ones. That was
my boobs missed most of the juice.
It's a Kayla and Katie problem. The boob speckles.
So then we went to Shibuya, which was interesting because initially we were trying to go to a park, and not only did we find out the park was under construction,
Fully under construction.
and like there's
Covered
dividers around it, like you can't see in there at all. So we were like,
and it was like jackhammers, and it was loud.
it was weird. So we were like, okay, either A, that wasn't the park, or B, they handle parks differently here.
To get to the park, we had to go under that sketchy tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Where all of these boxes are lined up, and the homeless population in Japan lives in these boxes, and like people were doing their homework on the upside of the box. it was really interesting to see like
Yeah. And they're very neat, like
folded
That
up
seems-
their blankets.
yeah, like they're very neat. But
There
was some
wasn't a
cool
lot of
graffiti there
them.
as well. Yeah, there was only a couple. There was a handful. It's not like in Utah where you have like a homeless camp.
Yeah.
So at least there was that.
Mhm.
One thing that was weird is in Japan the air is very clean and very nice. 98% of the time. Shibuya
It smells awful.
smells terrible.
Oh my gosh! Like
Only
dog poop.
sometimes.
Like you walk in a tunnel.
Literal butts.
You'd like walk into a tunnel and the air would come through and all you could smell is like dead man's fart.
This
In
was,
the words of my father, poo gas.
it was Shibuya. Thanks, Jameson.
Shibuya.
We took a walk and we kind of decided we were going to go look at Shibuya 109, which I really wanted to go to, but on the way there we got kind of sidetracked and wound up going into this mall. It had a lot of places, a lot of souvenirs and stuff, and Jesse really enjoys fashion, and now I do too. But we're going up and Jesse's looking around and slowly getting more excited. And I really want to grab... We found a shop called Fucking Rabbits. It's literally FXXXXKING. So they know. They know.
There
and
were
like a lot
lots
of their
of-
emblems is like rabbits like this.
I liked the
Nothing like-
one of the white rabbit and the pink rabbit in a definitely precarious position.
There was one with a white rabbit, a large like Donnie Darko white rabbit with a very naked lady, and I was just like,
He was scary.
fucking rabbits.
And it was, they were not false advertising. Every shirt, every hat, like
Yeah.
everything they had in there was like, had a fucking rabbit on it.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a fucking rabbit. It's they are engaged in the act. They are fucking rabbits.
It was definitely pornographic rabbits.
It wasn't exactly pornographic. You didn't see anything, but you know the position, the camera angle was created enough that you don't see anything. But they're definitely fucking rabbits.
I regret not getting that gotcha of the fucking rabbits.
Yeah, me too.
I really
just couldn't
should have got that.
fucking figure it out.
So this store this mall seemed a lot less like a chain mall
Yeah.
and more like they've rented out
Like
these individual
original
spaces.
Yeah.
creators making stuff.
So
Which was
fucking
cool.
rabbits was pretty funny to all of us as
Yeah.
we walked by.
There was this big, like, normal looking mannequin in there, right? Normal mannequin by just guys sitting like this. But instead of like a normal, like, blank face, there's just this big white rabbit head with red eyes that's just there. So
Staring.
we have a photo with that. And we were like, Jesse, go sit with it.
Jesse, you're the horror geek.
He's right
Go
at
do
my
it.
right
I
at my
think
alley.
we have to pause here and do a special Jesse interview for the next little
A little bit. You
So-
did special Jesse interview because
Stop
this
here.
store is for Jesse.
What
I will
about
go
the
to the next
$600 hoodie?
There was a $300 jacket
and
that
it was
Katie wanted.
beautiful. But I can't justify a $300. See, I'm not a fashion person. Like you guys probably could have talked yourselves up into it. I
Nah.
have nowhere to wear that. Like I am a dog groomer. There's no place that I go where that jacket is necessary.
Okay.
There was a 100. Oh, did you stop?
Nope.
Okay. There was a like $120 hoodie in Shibuya that I almost bought. It was super cool. It had the normal hood, but inside it had like the raised collar, like they like, and like the off-center zipper, and it was an asymmetrical headline. And it was a little bit longer than usual, and I was like, I want this. Also, I saw a Dreamcast wallet that almost went home with me, but I maintained control.
I think you and I did very well at the I want that, but then
Yeah.
talked ourselves down. Like
I got
Do I
stuff from my
really-
mom and my dad.
need that.
Okay, I'll sit by Kayla for a second. I'm not stopping the recording because I need this to be one recording.
Okay.
I'll tell the story, but then we'll put James in there for the hole in the wall.
Okay.
And you're not gonna sit by me?
Me?
Yeah.
You handed me the camera.
I can do the phone.
Camera on.
Oh God.
So I kept looking up. I
There
wanted.
you go. Is this what you wanted?
Yeah, thank you.
I just put my finger in the way. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I did it too.
So I really wanted to buy like at least a couple shirts while I was there, or actually I planned to buy some clothing in the Harajuku like area because that's what they're about. They're about fashion. But I kept looking over at this like really gothy. I don't know what you would call it. Just
They
weird-
specialized in oversized long clothing, so a lot.
Is that
so
what
just-
they specialized in?
That's what everything was long and oversized. So, like, even the guy who worked there, who we'll talk about in a minute, he was wearing pants under it, but he was essentially wearing basically a long skirt.
Yep.
And then a long shirt that also went
And a
down.
long jacket.
And a long jacket. So it's like...
It was drowning him.
It's completely unisex.
There's
which
no
I
other
like.
sizes, too. There's no other
You
sizes.
get big. That's what you get.
Yeah, only
And
size. he
It's
would say,
Asian
only
big,
size.
so it's not that big anyways.
So I walk in because I see these cool, like there's one shirt I really liked that had all these colorful cakes, but then there were also colorful syringes and pills between the cakes, like just all over the shirt. And then there was like a shirt with like razors and syringes and like scalpels and pills and shit on it that was just black and white, and I thought I was gonna get that one. So I was looking at all these shirts, and he starts just following me around and like giving me stuff and being like, yo, you try this, like you want this, you like this, and I was like, I get, like before I walked in there, I'd specifically been like, I just don't want anyone to bother me. I just don't want to talk to anyone. But I walk in here and this guy's on me, like flies on shit, like he's just like, you try this, and I'm like, he's like, you try this, and I was like, okay, and he ends up picking out like an entire outfit for me, and then shoving me in a very small dressing room with like a curtain. I think he said something when he shoved me in that was like, normally don't wear shoes, but okay for you. And I was like, okay. And he wants me to try it on, and so I sit there for a minute. I'm like, I don't want to take my clothes off. Like,
so she's in the fitting room,
I'm covered in
quiet,
sweat.
totally quiet, right? I'm walking around the store. Katie and James are walking around the store. This guy doesn't even look twice at us. He has Target locked on Jessie. So while she's having this weird, like, internal issue,
Crisis
he
moment.
goes over the door and goes, "You okay?" Like, very loudly.
And out of panic, I go, I'm okay!
So Kayla and I have a theory about this, and it's Jessie is the only one who's Japanese sized.
Yes.
So like none of those clothes would fit Kayla, Jameson, and Jet.
Like, I'm too curvy, Katie's too big, Jameson's too tall for the style, but Jessie, perfect.
So I'm kind of like fighting him on trying these on, but I finally do because I just want him to stop. Just like stop. And so I try on everything, and then I take it off immediately, and I'm like, okay, this is done then. Like he's like, hello? Are you, like, you okay? You done yet? Like, he wants to see it, and I'm like, it's too late. You can't. He's like, let me see. I'm like, too late. I took him off, and he like, I see him tap at the curtain, so I open it for him, like, see I'm dressed, and he's like, oh bitch! I couldn't believe he just called me a bitch. This is Japan. You don't do that here. And he's like, oh, bitch. And he like storms off.
Okay, to be fair, you don't do that in America. You don't just like if a potential customer walks into your store, you do not call them a bitch.
It's so alien because Japan is so polite and regimented.
Yeah.
So this guy is like very forward, very demanding, says what he says, and called Jessie a bitch.
I just laughed. I was like, okay. And I thought we were done. I thought this was the end of the saga, that he would storm off and not bother me again. He comes back with more clothing, like skirts and stuff. He's like, you try this on. You try this on. He brings me back leggings because that's what I'm wearing. So he's like, fine, maybe you'll get into this and show me. He's like, this time you show me. You have to show me. And I'm like, okay. He's scaring me. This man, he's shorter than I am.
So the rest of us
And I'm
find
not
this man.
helping.
The rest of us, like, I found him adorable. I thought it was the funniest thing.
I fucking hated this. I hated
Yeah, so Jessie's the only one who finds this horrible. The rest of us are just
It
cackling.
was the humiliation show. And so I go back in there in this like and have this personal like panic moment, like I have to do it. If I don't put on these clothes and come out, he's gonna call me a bitch again. So I slide on all the clothes, like, you know, and I open it like, nah, and he just like keeps bringing me more things and showing me how to layer it. Yeah, he's like showing me what to wear with it. He's like, oh, he keeps bringing me skirts that match the shirts, and he's like, all one, because he wants it to be like a full outfit.
Yeah.
He's bringing me different pants. He's asking me what I'm like, and I'm like, I've made my decision. I'm like, I just want these two shirts, and he's like, okay, but, and he like keeps bringing me stuff, and finally I'm just like, no.
My favorite was his face, because she tried on leggings over her other leggings.
I didn't take any clothes
he
off.
wasn't prepared because she suddenly like puts thumbs in her pants and starts pulling down. He goes, and then she pulls down and there's more leggings, and he's just like,
And
he just kind of looks at me and I go, she never takes off any of her clothes, and he's just like.
So the best part was then he started giggling about it. Like he found the leggings as funny as we found the leggings.
I expected to find like other weirdos in this store, but I only found hostility and demand. and so I ended up going with this really cool strawberry shirt that had like
when you first look at it, you're like, oh, strawberries, and then you're like,
He would not let me tie the bow myself.
Violent
Did you
strawberry.
see that?
Yeah, no, he demanded. It
He
has a
put it
little
on
bow
me.
by the collar.
I kept going like this, and he goes, "Let me do it." I'll do it. I'm like, fuck, dude, stop attacking me. Like, what is wrong with you?
This is the most like in your face Japanese guy we've ever
I
seen
didn't
and
know
probably
they came
ever
like
will
that.
see.
I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the total came up to like something like $250, and I can't count in America or in Japan. And so I kept like pulling out wrong amounts of money, and like, oh, before that he has to see my passport because it was like a large sum, I guess. I don't know. And but I keep like pulling out large amounts of money, and Katie and Kayla are coming over to help me, but then they both help me at once, so I hand him this humongous wad of money. He hands me like a bunch of it back.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
like
Katie had to front me
we
100.
come over and we're like, you don't have enough.
I was panicking. He'd already yelled at me so much by that point. Any faculties I had left, I was like, oh god, oh god. I'm happy with my purchases, but I never want to go in that store again.
So she didn't end up purchasing 2 shirts. What else did you end up
She
purchasing
got
instead?
a shirt
I
and
had
the
this
jacket
jacket,
she's wearing, which
Yes.
which is like really sheer.
for her modesty. Because in Japan,
You don't
anything
wear.
above the chest, like you can have arms, but you're not allowed to have a
You're not supposed to
torso.
have tank tops either.
No. So
It's like
Jesse
the
got
Mormon
this
church.
lovely jacket.
I love the jacket, and I love my like cool strawberry shirt.
Yeah.
These things are only available in Japan. They're not made or
Yeah.
shipped or anything.
My
They're just
favorite is the
Japanese.
name of the store is Civilized.
Civilized. Okay, I told my story.
With an R.
I'm gonna put Jameson up for the food part. You wanna?
Oh, hey, we're not to the food part yet.
We got to get
Where
through
we
this
get some-
mall.
Where are we?
We
at?
did get to
Oh,
the top of the mall with the parfait.
That's
We're
right.
still in the first part. Yeah, so
We're in
we-
Act 1, Scene
we
1.
Go up and there's like some anime shop, there's some clothing shops, but at this point Jesse's kind of done. She's had her traumatic experience.
I know.
for the
I had
day.
to pee. He scared the piss out of me.
So we go up basically to the top of this building, just side of the roof, and we go in and they have this one little cafe that has like the perfect looking parfaits. They've got like the fruit sticking out of the top and
All
the
the
cream.
food displays
and the
are
long
like
cups.
professionally crafted art.
Yeah.
Like they have fake food displays that are.
To show you like what it is. So the
What's wrong?
Get my phone.
okay.
Because
Oh.
it's making noises in the way.
So we go up, we order this parfait. Now, Japanese parfaits are really, really, really good. The only thing is not enough ice cream. Other than that, perfect. Though they've got lots of layers, so they've got
There's,
like
like,
fruit custard,
Whipped cream.
whipped cream, like some sort of either like custard or creme patisserie or some crap like that. Ice cream, whipped cream, and then like all sorts of fruit coming out of the top. So
Me and Katie
that
had-
was delicious.
Sorry. Me and Katie had tea with like fruit in it. Really
Juice
nice.
on the loose, which is just their
There's
way
no
of saying
juice. It's
we
tea
stuck lots of fruit bit in
in
there
your
with
tea,
ice.
and then Jameson had like a tiny beer,
Yeah.
a Japanese sized
tiniest
beer.
So can I say the part that I want to?
Yeah.
Okay, so after we left this mall, we decided to actually go properly to Shibuya 109, which is a big building. On the way there, now we saw them the first time. There was this band called Viral standing out by the Tokyo
Viral.
Record Building. And I was on the other side of the road the first time I went by, and I made the effort to reach out and grab one of these guys' flyer, and he goes, "Viral, the Japanese superstar." And I was like, "Hi." And
No,
on the way
all,
back-
all of these boys were insanely
Oh,
pretty
yeah, they're
boys.
pretty.
Oh my gosh. The one with the orange hair.
So we come back a second time because we're not great with directions. And as we goes past, he leans out and does this. Oh. So I very clumsily asked them where can I buy your CD? And he goes 6 p.m. upstairs. And I was like, okay. And I'm kind of embarrassed at this point because I'm pretty sure I didn't use the right word for buy, but of course they're not going to say anything. And as I walk by, one of the other guys is like, "Oh, pretty girl." And I'm like, "Ah, don't look at
He was
me."
smooth. He's a smooth operator. I was like, damn, this is a
They-
good game, son.
They worked hard to be as pretty as they are.
So at that point, we did go to Shibuya 109. The main reason I wanted to go there is nerdy as hell. But there's a video game I like called Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the Wii U, and Shibuya 109 is a dungeon location, and it looks just
She had
like
to
it
check
does
if
in
it
the
was a
game.
dungeon.
Right up the stairs is the dungeon entrance, but I didn't really know what that building's supposed to be. Turns out it's another mall
Like a multi-story, humongous
full
mall.
of clothing that's way too small for me. And Katie and Jameson were done at that point. So at
I'm
that
so
point we moved on to
Meiji Shrine.
Meiji
the
Temple.
Meiji Temple. So let's stop the video here and we'll do chapter for the Meiji Temple. Yeah.
Yeah.